joining us today.
No, thanks heaps. Really, Keenan, it's lovely to be here. It's lovely to be able to talk with you and the community at large. So I guess I'll introduce myself a little bit. So my name is Ivan, and I've been working with Reputation.link within the area about 3 to 4 months now. And I've been having a lovely time just communicating with all the protocols, all the developers from Chainlink or otherwise, just all the stakeholders and all that. And I've been responsible for running the product development within the venture.
Beautiful. Yeah, thanks for having us, Keenan. I'm Kitty, Catherine, listed on Twitter and Discord. It's really great to be here. So we've been running Reputation.link for the past year or so now, and I've been with the team since March. I suppose handling kind of outward community engagement and communications. I suppose I'll give a little bit of history on our team. So we're a relatively small team here in Australia, based in Brisbane. We've attended a few Chainlink hackathons, I suppose, over the last 2 years where we've built solutions that use Chainlink's middleware. And we all kind of share the fascination and passion for oracles and, you know, the need of the oracle's reputation for them to be listed. And I suppose our fascination really turned into a profession in 2019. As Keenan mentioned, we run a node, Secure Data Links. And running the node really highlighted the importance, I suppose, of Oracle reputation. So this influenced us to start Chainlink Oracle Reputation, which tackles this problem, I suppose, by providing a single interface to visualize and monitor the performance of the Chainlink nodes on the network. So we'll dive into it a little bit later, but I suppose we initially did set out to tackle this reputation score issue. However, we realized very quickly that there is a lot to do prior to giving nodes a reputation score. You have to capture the data first. You then need to visualize the data and give it context. And so I suppose what we've built, is a data streamlining service and a front-end interface to really capture the oracles on the Chainlink network. So, for instance, we show the uptime of the API providers, we show the different contracts on the network, and we show specific historical data like the historic aggregated price over time.
Yeah, and just to add to that, Kitty, aside from the platform itself, we are really extremely passionate about like educating the community. And so we use our blog, Illumination, please check it out, to release technical deep dives, educational pieces, and recently, and moving forward as well, opinion pieces written by the community members to create learning resources to increase just general understanding about the ecosystem and the Oracle problem to ensure that these things get the attention that they deserve.
Cool. Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing. Definitely want to give a shout out to Pat and Ash and Ray and the rest of your team too, and the whole Chainlink community down under in Australia. You guys have really, done a lot for the Chainlink network over the past 2-3 years, and it's really crazy to see how much everything has grown. Yeah, so going forward, do you want to maybe talk a little more about that recent blog that you have started with the Chainlink community?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've just recently, what you're referring to, Keenan, is what we're calling From the Community. So it's a series of blog posts that are authored by members in the community. So we really encourage anyone who has a thought piece on anything Oracle related, anything Chainlink related, or anything that's going on in the market to get in contact with us. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are, and we'd love to provide you with the platform to publish your articles. So we've had the Link Hound publish 2 articles, I suppose, over the last 2 to 3 weeks on some recent Oracle outages, which really, I suppose, highlight the importance of a decentralized Oracle network like Chainlink. So Keenan, I'll share that link with you, and we can get that out to the community so people can get in contact with us.
Yeah, I'll make sure to drop that in the description afterwards for everyone that's listening in, and make sure to spread that, throughout Twitter. And it's really cool to see the community participating and everything that you're working on as well. With Reputation.link, what is kind of your approach to building infrastructure, and what goes into this process for everyone? I want to run a node. What does that mean, and kind of what all goes into that?
Yeah, sure. So within Reputation.link itself, like we started development of Reputation.link late 2019. We just followed through like lots of different projects and hackathons that we participated with in the Chainlink ecosystem, as well as with the node that we have the SDL. And we got the Chainlink grant, which helped us expand the network and what we provide in general. The way that we operate is really clear and transparent data collection and aggregation. We're adding the feature to show exactly and contextualize really the data and what we show, because it is of extreme importance that people are able to see and understand what the data within the Chainlink ecosystem means. But following the infrastructure, so the way that Reputation.link works is we currently collect the data from the Ethereum. So right now, Ropsten and Mainnet, but soon to be added more, which is really cool. And we store a large chunk of everything collected within a database. So we then have the snapshotting service, which takes and formats this data and sends it to another database, or the snapshot database, which then exposes the backend API. And then the front-end API works together in tandem with that, which then functions based upon requests within the website itself. There's obviously a lot that goes behind the scenes as well in order to make things work seamlessly and properly, really, such as a caching mechanism that we developed, as well as just smoothing trends and just data collected, which are examples. But we're seeing Chainlink ecosystem grow at a rapid pace, and with more blockchains and more protocols utilizing Chainlink as a means to secure the data they provide, like in a tamper-proof sort of way. We see that in order to keep up with the ecosystem, we need to optimize the time that it takes to capture this entire network as a whole. And there are incredible talents within the Chainlink community that have great knowledge and niche interests that would enable for this sort of rapid expansion and growth to be developed. So while we have been developing things in almost like a closed source sort of way, in a more traditional startup and company sort of way, we are moving towards a more open source and modular architecture, where we have this plug and play feature coming up, as Kitty sort of mentioned. We're currently working hard to ensure that the infrastructure is agnostic to what network is to be connected. And this means that any EVM-based network, or really more in the future, will be able to be added and easily ported to core. So core being Reputation.link, sorry, Chainlink Oracle Reputation. Essentially, any blockchain or protocol will be able to be seamlessly integrated with front-end and visualization. And we're currently experimenting with this processes internally, but in the coming weeks, we'll release detailed documentation on how users will be able to suggest, develop, and even integrate their own different chains and protocols by throwing up PRs in our code base. Because after all, we're building this tool for a decentralized network. So why would we build it in a centralized sort of way, like a traditional sort of way, really? We believe in supporting the ecosystem, and we will slowly enable Core to be a community-driven tool that will truly grasp the ecosystem as a whole.
Very cool. Yeah, I was about to ask, so like, do you have any asks from the community of how they could participate with what you're building and help you kind of grow this?
Oh, absolutely. What's it called? We've had multiple requests for sort of, hey, can you integrate this network? Hey, this is a really cool piece that we can write about. Hey, what about this specific area? How can I put my node up there? So really, there is a lot of community interest, which is sort of like why really we decided to sort of expand towards this way, because it just makes sense. Like, it just makes sense to be able to benefit the community, to have the community contribution, just to sort of faster expansion. So yeah.
Very cool. And Kitty, so when you recently got the Chainlink grant, I think like we see these grants kind of come out into the public and obviously see the amazing progress that, everything that you're pushing out, all this new content, all this new features within Reputation.link and just within secure data links. But do you want to talk a little more about, what the process was kind of getting that grant, and then what happens kind of afterwards and what it's going to be used for?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've, had a great relations with Chainlink, I suppose, for the past few years. And like I mentioned, we participated in hackathons. We've always been interested in the Oracle space and interested in building out these solutions. And so this led us to, put together Chainlink Oracle Reputation. And then we, saw that Chainlink released their community grant program, which is, a fantastic program that encourages developers to build out these tools to help visualize and grow the Chainlink network, which is exactly what Reputation.link is trying to achieve. So we applied for the grant. We were lucky enough to be awarded the grant, and it's really allowed us to expand upon our initial goal and really deliver on what we set out to achieve. Something that, Ivan touched upon earlier and that we're announcing today is we're changing the way that we're developing the platform. And this is only really achievable due to the generous grant that, you guys awarded us earlier in the year. So we're moving the platform and we're evolving it from being a monolithic architecture to a microservices architecture. So essentially, any third party is going to be able to seamlessly integrate protocols and blockchains into our front end tool. And so I suppose why we're going down this route, it's because, like Ivan mentioned, we really recognize, the rich community that we share with you, Chainlink. Everyone's kind of moving towards that goal of, building upon these tools and services for the Chainlink network. And, we believe by moving towards this development area, we're going to really be able to unite with the community and speed up the process of capturing the entire network and more blockchains and more protocols. So really grateful to have that award to continue building out the tool.
Cool. Thanks a lot for that answer. Yeah, I think we've talked offline about this, and it's like, we're all in this together. And it's amazing to see with like the node operators and all the ecosystem teams and community how crazy this growth of this network is becoming, and definitely comes from people like yourselves being able to push this stuff forward. So it's amazing.
Definitely. Well, I suppose one team isn't going to achieve it on their own, are they? It's going to be a group community effort. So yeah, we're really pushing towards that in the coming months.
Yeah. And I see one question in the audience, and kind of going off your point of, being able to, really open source this. One of the features that I personally love, and I know that the community in general really loves, is being able to see the total value locked of all the protocols within Chainlink, and how that was one of the first features of any ecosystem company, and kind of really brought to light all those stuff. Do you think open sourcing that's going to be able to help keep that updated and get more protocols integrated in that? And what is your kind of plans to do that?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, really, we have sort of been doing that in the background, low key, but by open sourcing it and just making the tools more available for community integration, it will just sort of facilitate the process, because currently we're just doing it manually. You have to obtain the data pipeline to actually obtain what data is actually being secured by Chainlink, so that we are able to provide, tangible data. We have to sort of just do the research and the integration by ourselves. But if we're able to not outsource it, but if we're able to sort of rely upon community members that want to see a specific protocol within there, or sort of just contribute, or the protocols themselves want to see there, because it can be almost like an advertising platform to sort of see these are the things that are being secured by Chainlink, which is actually a great thing, because we've seen countless times what has happened to all of these protocols and things that rely on either their own Oracle solution, or do not have some sort of integration with Chainlink. So by making it more open for community integration, I think that we would be able to further expand the total value locked sort of feature, and we would be able to just have the entire network as a whole, rather than us sort of piecing it up together. And this protocol uses Chainlink, we didn't know that, because it's really sort of dispersed and it's ever sort of expanding.
Very cool. And I think that kind of goes really well into our next question of, what is the value of node operators and people to register their node also on Reputation.link?
So I suppose, as we've explained, there's so much data going through the Chainlink ecosystem. A lot of this data can be sorted and used for nodes' reputation. So when a node registers on Reputation.link, they're assigned a profile within our platform. And so they can brand their profile, they can upload their logo and a banner. And on this profile shows their historical performance over time. So for instance, for secure data links, our total number of transactions are there, our average uptime is there, our average latency is there. So it's really, we can use it, I suppose, for a tool to advertise our node's performance. And the way that we see this playing out is, when we start to introduce staking, it's going to be really important for developers to visit Reputation.link, view the reputation of these nodes, and then be able to select nodes that meet their specific use cases for their smart contracts. So, whether they're after nodes with great reliability or whether they're after nodes with really low latency, they're going to be able to use Reputation.link to match nodes that meet their use case, which is going to be great. And I suppose there's like another great implication of listing Reputation, on platforms like Reputation.link. And it relates to what we were talking about earlier and a recent announcement that was made about the Keeper and the Chainlink integration. So a little overview. So Keeper is, in beta, and essentially it's a decentralized network where, protocols can post jobs and users can respond to jobs. I suppose ideally we would use Chainlink for all jobs due to the security and the reliability that it guarantees. But we've got so many startups in this space and so many teams with early stage development, and they don't have the funds to use expensive infrastructure to secure their smart contracts. And also there are some smart contracts that really don't require such high reliability. So this is where Keeper comes in. It can be used for these jobs where, projects don't have, I suppose, the manpower to use Chainlink. Where Reputation comes in, I suppose, is we can list the reputation of these keepers in a similar way to how we list the reputation of the Chainlink nodes. This is pretty exciting because the way we view it is, once these keepers hit a reputation that is similar to the Chainlink nodes, perhaps we could upgrade them to be Chainlink nodes, which would really grow the network, make the network more decentralized. So yeah, we see this partnership as extremely exciting. We're going to see more jobs. We're going to see more job types. We're going to see more nodes on the network. It's going to become more decentralized and more secure. So yeah, as we mentioned, we've done a write-up on this. We're posting it on our blog, Illumination. So we'll shoot through the link if anyone's interested in learning a little bit more about it.
Cool. Yeah, I'm really excited to read that after this too. I know that you guys posted right before we signed up. It's going to be exciting, being able to work with them and Andre and see the network be able to grow so quickly, and the value that Reputation.link is being able to provide for all this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and so we have a huge community in Australia. It's quite amazing, and Harry, he won the Chainlink hackathon. The Reputation or the Secure Data Links team, I know that Ray, Ash, and Pat, they won the F Denver hackathon portion of the Chainlink prize on another project that they're working on. Tons of developers. It's quite amazing. Do you want to maybe talk a bit about the blockchain community in Australia and everything that's kind of happening in Australia?
Yeah, sure. I mean, really, as you said, it's like, for example, Harry lives in the same places as I do here in Adelaide. I didn't even know that he was sort of participating in that hackathon. So it's really cool seeing this contribution just coming from everywhere, from lots of different sources. But the blockchain community and ecosystem in Australia is quite open, it's quite friendly, and it's moving forward. So much to the point that we don't mention that too much in decentralization of that, but the government really is funded in developing just a lot of grants for like startups and companies within the space itself. And Australia has particularly been active in the participation of DLT integration within various of its sectors, such as banking, supply chain, agriculture, etc. So much so that they sort of included this in this thing that they call the National Blockchain Roadmap, which estimates that Australia is really going to contribute to the estimated global annual sort of business value that is brought up by blockchain within 2025, within like around $175 billion. So really exciting stuff. Before we sort of move on to the little communities, I guess, of like Adelaide Blockchain and Adelaide Bitcoin, as well as Chainlink Australia, there are some notable industry leaders and startups within the blockchain space here in Australia. Some of them which are pretty well renowned within the space, such as Synthetics, which is Sydney-based, FlexDApps, which is Melbourne-based. It's a top-tier sort of dApp development studio that has worked with lots of different ventures. We have Maple Finance, which is a debt marketplace. We even have Kerman Coley, which does lots of these blog posts, as well as DeFi Weekly. And we have an Adelaide-based one as well called Valley, which has focused upon building these tools for sustainable finance demands, such as property risk scorecards and agricultural support tools. These are just to name a few. There's just heaps and heaps and heaps of these developments and these startups, which are Australian based, which contribute to the community. Furthermore, the smaller and sort of community-based approaches come in on the form of like Adelaide blockchain and Adelaide Bitcoin within my end, where there is this creation of educational series on blockchain history and development, participation within events such as this big thing that happened in 2019, the ADC Global Blockchain Summit, that involved lots of different developers and software companies sort of going together and talking about blockchain within one space. We have had numerous guests within Adelaide blockchain, such as OneChain. We've had Rusty Russell, which is Adelaide based as well. He wrote part of the Lightning Network paper for Blockstream. Lots of fireside chats, workshops, and it's really fun. I think, in fact, Kitty and the guys at Brisbane, they have the Chainlink Australia meetups. Do you want to talk about that, Kitty?
Oh yeah, so we run quite a few virtual meetups actually with Chainlink. We host them, I think it's on meetup.com.au, but we share them on our Twitter. So if anyone's interested in joining them in the future, just follow us on Twitter. But yeah, we've partnered with a few other Australian companies. Mind Digital's one of them, so they're a fiat on off ramp. And then we've also got there's Bitcoin Brisbane, I suppose, which is another group. But they're really fantastic sessions, similar to what we're doing now, where we just explore the Oracle space and the importance for decentralized Oracle networks.
Very cool. Yeah, I was tallying like how many meetups we've done over the past year, and I was amazed. Like down in Australia, I think it was like at least like we've done close, like right over 100, and there was like 10 to like 15 that were in Australia, which is just like
wild.
Huge,
they're great. Like, they're great, Keenan, because we've met quite a few, fantastic members of the community that we keep in contact with through the Q&A sessions during those meetups. So not only does the community get value out of them, but we get a lot of value out of those sessions as well.
Cool. Yeah, I know that soon as this COVID ends, I'm definitely coming down, and we're doing huge Chainlink Australia meetup. So
definitely, like I said, we've got a Chainlink Oracle shirt ready for you here as soon as you can get the flight over.
Sweet. Yeah. And Kitty, like, how did you get into blockchain? And do you have like any advice too for like other people that might in the future be listening in and, with like getting like more women involved in the ecosystem and within the industry itself?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I suppose it's fairly clear, there's not a heap of women in the community, but there are all sorts of, clubs and groups. I can send you through a few links, Keenan, that I encourage people to get involved in. They're great ways to meet other females in the community. I got involved because of, we've got this team, Mycelium, here in Brisbane. And I knew a few of the people working here, I suppose, through other connections. So that's, I suppose, a bit of a unique, my case is fairly unique. It's hard to replicate that. But I would just encourage, whatever your gender is, just get involved in Discord channels, because we've got a lot of community members who are very active in our Chainlink Oracle Reputation Discord channel. And we're starting to reach out to them and see if they're interested in being community advocates. So, we're so early in the ecosystem that the opportunities to get involved are endless. So, yeah, I suppose get into these groups. I'll send you the links, Keenan, and also just find the protocols or the projects that you're interested in and get involved.
Cool. Yeah, thanks a lot for sharing that. And I'll make sure to drop those links into the description too. And I'm glad you brought up being an advocate, because Yvonne, you were an advocate once too.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I was doing the Adelaide Chainlink group meetups and just participating within the community and all that. And that's really how I got in contact with the other Chainlink group, which is Chainlink Australia, which was the Brisbane guys. And one thing led to another, and now I'm working together with them within this really cool project, Reputation.link, that serves this really big purpose towards the ecosystem as a whole.
Yeah, so if you're listening in, definitely become an advocate. Tons of growth opportunities, tons of cool people that you can meet and help kind of grow your community and grow everything that your goals might be. Yeah, so I guess to kind of like wrap things up, I know that you have a Discord. Where's the best place to talk with the Reputation.link team and the Secure Data Link team?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Keenan. So the Discord channel, I suppose, is a great way to get into contact. So all of us are in that chat. Ash, Pat, Ray, Yvonne, myself, the entire team. We're actively there responding, encouraging any, Oracle-related lines of communication. So once again, we've said it a million times, but I'll send you the link. We'll put it in the description. We encourage you guys to join. And also, excitingly, we're launching our first Chainlink Oracle Reputation newsletter today. So this is going to be a monthly newsletter that's just sent out to people's emails if they're interested, just summarizing the progress that we've made over the last 2 weeks. So there's a link on our website that you can subscribe to the newsletter if you're interested, I suppose, in keeping up to date with what we're building here at Reputation.link.
Amazing. Yeah, no, it's amazing that the amount of content and just product pushes that y'all are doing. So it's amazing. Keep up the amazing work. And again, shout out Pat and Ash and Ray if you're listening in. Yeah, I really appreciate all the work that you do to support the network and grow everything. Cool. Beautiful. Is there anything else that maybe we left out too that you want to mention to the audience?
No, nothing really on our end. We've mentioned, the opinion pieces on Illumination a few times. But yeah, we just really encourage people to get in contact. We'd love to publish their thoughts to grow their education and grow the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Just keep your eyes peeled. A lot of cool stuff coming up in the next month, or even less so, like even shorter time notice. But it's going to be some very interesting months that are going to come by, and some really cool features that are going to be added to Reputation.link as a whole.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks a lot, both of you joining. Thanks a lot for the Southeast Asia and Australia community for everything that you both do here in the Chainlink community, and participating in hackathons, winning hackathons, growing the network. It's amazing to see. And you heard it here first. We're having the biggest Chainlink Australia meetups. And we're able to do that. So yeah, really excited. And thanks again for both of you being able to join us this evening.
Beautiful.
Thanks so much, Keenan.
Thanks, Keenan. We love attending these kinds of events. So yeah, thanks a lot. We really appreciate it.
Cool. Well, thanks again, everyone, for joining in, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.